Now, I've traveled to 39 countries on 4 different continents. I mixed with people of various status, origins, wealth, power. I had the possibility of mixing with the homeless, with the destitute, with the underage prostitutes that nagged me at the Warsaw night station, with the cadavers in Mongolian black market district. And I've witnessed plenty of death, cadavers in physical form, and I've witnessed plenty of death and half decaying souls with my second sight. Now, this is not about a story on how to live this life. It is about chameleonic adaptability. What is a chameleon? He adapts to the circumstances. He preserves his nature and his spine, his ethos. Nevertheless, he knows how to take the loose threads from his narration, dialogue, mind, information, data, knowledge, in order to probe the surroundings and to adapt it according to the person. This is a bit like know-how in corporate business. You only take this segment of information that is necessary for that particular person at a given time in certain circumstances. In other words, I have a different relation with my family, with my friends, with my magical friends, with my more apt, let's say, misters, maestras, and so on. I have a different capacity of talking to the homeless. I have different capacity of talking to the wealthy, powerful, and so on and so on. So, there is something called the savoir-vivre, the class that you have, the charisma that you have. And you adapt. When you are talking to a skinhead child, you are not sweet talking like Odysseus in the rhetorical perspective. You must be tough, right? And you must be vulgar and you must dominate. Or at least be tough enough to have a few words in order for that person to take you for his own or her own. If you're talking to a professor, you may unleash your ability to talk with erudition and to charm the person. When you talk with the woman of your life or a female you are trying to attract, you're not bullshitting yourself, you're showing the true side, the honest side, and you're trying to, let's say, words for expertise. So you are either a person who is honest and charming to that person, respectful and so on, or you are not interested at all, right? So you always take the perspective of another. You probe what he knows, what he's about, what's his personality, what's his character. And by mixing with various people from various status, wealth, whether downcast or up there, you learn life, you learn people. And why is this chameleonic adaptability very important in the magical business? Because if you have a large experience that is surpassing through anomalous experiences that of an ordinary mortal, you don't talk left and right about it because otherwise you're relegated to psychiatry or you are taken for a deluded person, a maniac. Now, what about insanity? When you're truly insane, you're not aware of it. Sometimes you may simulate insanity in order to protect yourself. Sometimes you are insane, but you need to take this rigoristic mask, a poker face, in order for this insanity not to be shown. And sometimes when you are completely sane, you need to adopt the mask of an insane person in order to save your ass from various situations. So it's not only about the gift of the gab or talking. It's about the gestures, the posture, everything else. Why is it important? Is it to be dishonest or lying? Is it to be, let's say, malleable or opportunistic, like some kind of a profiteer? No, it is always to be of spine, of codex, of certain ethos. This is your ethos. Everything around is circulating around it, and you adapt this chameleonic policy around. So, to the fools, you do not flash your wisdom because they'll be jealous and they'll probably destroy you. you must be a fool. You must play this fool, although you know you have the knowledge and you are having some inner capacity for wisdom and insight. To the person you want to gain favors with, you don't flatter them. You try to look from their perspective and see what wise can you offer to them. What kind of an advice? Honest advice. There's a thing that only the tough, the strong, and the most cunning and honest survive any kind of mishaps. So, amongst thieves, you cannot be an honest person. You need to think like a thief. And you need to be cunning like a fox to trick them out of the wits in order not to be robbed or burgled. Right? To a murderer, I once met a murderer, a hitman from Belarus that was happening to be a skinhead. You are not combative because you'll be murdered. And neither you are lenient or submissive, because that is also making you a mocking stock to that particular person. You need to preserve a certain idea of resilience. Resilience and the ability to talk his talk in a way that it is most approachable and agreeable to that vulgar beast. Similarly, when I talk honestly here in these little lectures, I sometimes question myself, who am I? Well, I try to be as honest as possible, presenting the most fitting, befitting nature that I can offer from 20 also natures that I have. It's not multiple personality disorder. Sometimes I'm a medium and they incarnate into my body, into my mind, in order to convey certain information. And then my nature changes. This is my nature, this is the frame that I'm using now, and these frames can be volatile, and so on. So, Gnotise Auton is about knowing your deepest nature, your deepest core. What is really you? What is compatible with you? What do you like about yourself? What is most honest with your diamond, with your genius, or Juno in case of females, in the ancient parable? And everything that is incompatible with your nature, everything that is inflicting suffering or inflicting this contrast, is to be rejected. It shapes you, but it is to be rejected. It helps you to know what you truly are, what's your inner jest, what you are truly made of. And there is a law of attraction in magic, that you attract things that you are. Sometimes you attract things that you are not. By the law of opposition, enantodromia, too much light invites darkness, and so on and so on. So be aware of that. And what is the key of adapting this chameleonic ability? It is simple knowledge of people, thinking about people, recognizing them, and not looking at the very tip of your very own nose. Because this is a small-minded, petty-minded thing. You think large. That means that you embrace every possible person and you try to get to observe them, to learn them, to know them, and you do it for multiple years, many, many years, for decades. And then you arrive at this point that you can play this Chameleo, preserving the best bits, your close ones and yourself. Why so? Because it helps you survive. It helps you survive. Not only that, it helps you get things done. So, that is all.